Parrots are the third most popular pet in the entire world, but the #1 most rehomed. Help us put an end to this. Listen to the Parrot Training Podcast, brought to you by Bird Tricks.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Parrot Training Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Womack, here with my beautiful wife, Jamie Womack, from Bird Tricks. And you may have noticed that we've taken a little bit of time off from the podcast. And the truth of the matter is, we have been so slammed. I'm sorry, guys. We've had so many international travels, domestic travels. I'm home actually, I didn't even make it all the way home. I did a 20-hour drive. I slept in my car for 2 hours to get to the airport, to fly out to Maryland, to do another consult, to come back. So we've been slammed. So I apologize that we haven't been doing the podcast. However, many of you, tons and tons of you, submitted different entries, if you will, by leaving a review, sending us a screen capture of your review to enter into our contest. And we never really even said, like, hey, just do this and you might win something, but we didn't say what you're going to win. So we have a list of things here because I'm pretty impressed with how much feedback we got, despite not ever actually giving you a prize.
I know, we never said what you guys won, but we were just like, gonna win something.
You get a dirty sock.
We both were like, what are they gonna win, actually? We should probably figure that out.
A sliver of grass from our backyard. No, so here's what we did. I've got a list of things here. We're going to go ahead and give out a physical copy of the family-friendly Parrot Training Formula DVDs 1 and 2. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to autograph these for you here. If you're lucky, one of the birds might take a chunk out of the paper too. But we're going to autograph those for you. So that's the first prize. So to do this, we are going to go through the inbox that has specifically all of the entry forms. We're going to slide randomly to kind of scroll through it, tap on one of them, and then we'll announce the winner.
Ready?
It's kind of funny because you can hear we're sitting outside and Torpedo,
Touché,
this guy, won't stop talking.
Thank you guys so much for entering and getting your prizes. Sorry to those of you that didn't win, but definitely keep an eye out. We'll probably hold more contests. And let us know what you guys want to win, because I'd be curious.
And on that, you know, we've talked a lot about like random rewarding and how that's important throughout a lot of our different videos. So keep leaving your reviews because we will be randomly picking different reviews to win free stuff.
Yeah, those of you that follow me on Instagram know that I'm super into random rewarding on there, and people that tag us and stuff, especially when you get our monthly toy boxes or you're tagging us in feeding your bird our pellets or birdie breads, you know that I'm watching all the time and looking for those things. And yeah, I got in trouble for rewarding too many of you.
Just give out free stuff. So keep leaving your reviews.
I know, it was a nice thing. It wasn't a nice thing to do.
Hey, should we talk about like anything else other than just the prizes?
Yes. Okay. Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. Okay, so the topic of today's podcast, actually, I wanted it to be heightened behavior through talking. So one of the things, I know a lot of you here on YouTube aren't necessarily over on Patreon following the Indian ringneck Touché's journey, who's talking to us right now. One of the things that it's this guy. One of the things that made working with him difficult is the fact that he does talk.
And it's so adorable.
It is the cutest. It is the cutest thing. And a terrible lesson that I had to learn was, I think one day he had been separated from Lefty for a certain amount of time because Capri was hanging out with Lefty, the Quaker parrot, and Touché and Lefty have become like quite bonded. They hang out, they're buddies. And since Touché had been away from Lefty and then I brought Lefty to him, he got very, very excited, which led him to talking a ton. And so when Lefty came over, and you're going to notice when I start talking like him, he's going to get excited and do it too. But he was like, ooh, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, 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 oh yeah. And he was like, he does this to me, oh yeah. And he just went crazy seeing Lefty and got so excited. Well, what happened was this heightened state, it started making him lunge and attack. And I, before the lunging and attacking, was like, oh my gosh, it's so cute that I started talking back. And I was like, yeah, oh yeah, me, yeah, oh yeah. And he started doing it back and it got super crazy heightened. And then he went psycho and started lunging and biting.
Which introduces a new concept that we call permapin. So eye pinning is when there's like, when their eyes are pinning, they're more receptive to new words.
Hey, baby.
And Psycho over here, who's adorably nicknamed Torpedo, because if you watch any of our other videos, he's just flying like a missile in the background.
He torpedoes through. You don't even see wings. You just see like a blur of green.
And then, but he's permapin. He's constantly at a heightened state of emotion, which made us realize that his talking actually is an indicator that he's about to kill you.
Yeah, and so there's certain things that I was realizing that I wanted to interact with him when he was talking because I thought it was so cute and I was taking it at face value. Like when a human says, "Hey, baby," or "Hey," and you know, like these wee wee wee. And like gives kisses, you think like, oh, this is so cute, this is so sweet, oh yeah, and you're gonna hang out. What I realized was that was like the worst time to interact with him because he was so heightened and bringing him down was just crazy. And so one of the videos that I shared on my Patreon was clicking and rewarding for this really subtle me, and you barely hear it, but he makes that noise when he's very calm, and I wanted to capture the state of emotion he was at more so than the cute little
So you might be forgetting that you get what you click, or as Jamie says, you click what you get. So what happens, maybe you missed that video, but what happens is you pair the emotion that the bird has at the moment that they're learning that behavior. So if touching the target stick and you click and you give a treat, but they're pissed off and they're biting, you're gonna put pissed off and biting the stick on cue. And so the problem with these adorable little voices are, me, I love you. Like, yeah, really, is that it's just so adorable, but you're putting this heightened state of almost aggression on cue. So you're actually encouraging and reinforcing that heightened behavior.
And it was happening to me, and this is what I ended up bringing to Dave. I was like, gosh, this bird is really hard because I remember to interact with him when he speaks because it's so cute. It makes you want to go over there and initiate an interaction. But what was happening was the interaction was becoming negative. So I noticed that he gets really over-heightened when I first bring breakfast. He's so into breakfast. And he will just start talking it up and making all these different noises. But if I try to interact, it's lunge city. He's just after me. Whereas if I wait till later when he's more calm and content and he's not really talking, the interaction goes so much better. I can put talking and certain cute little things on cue because I'm now asking for them in a controlled environment of a training session versus him, if almost like, it's almost as though in a way not to use capturing with him because when he does talk, the really, really excited talk, it's at a state of emotion that I don't want. Now, if he was calm, I could use that, but for the most part, when he's doing the yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, oh yeah, it's ooh,
but he's just permapin. He's always at this heightened state of emotion, which is why this is a difficult species to work with.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, I will show you this cutie. And this is actually really impressive because when those of you that have been following on Patreon, when I first put him out in an aviary, which was a larger one, you psycho.
That's what it is.
When I put him out in our 6-foot diameter aviaries, he went nuts and he was so terrified and he was just crazy. So the fact that he's just calm and chill in this now, a month later, is really great progress. And he's a lot more relaxed in general. However, this species in particular is easily over-heightened, and I would say more species like that is probably the military macaw. A lot of cockatoos are easily over-heightened, overstimulated. And so just remembering that, remember that talking isn't necessarily, shouldn't necessarily be taken at face value where it's really cute. I remember Storm, the Amazon, used to say, come here, was it come here or like step up? Or
it's making me realize that a lot of the great speaking species are great speakers because they're easily heightened.
Yeah, and they're luring you in. You know, I think a lot of you have a lot of stories that you could share in the comments of a bird saying, come here, want to step up? And then they're just doing it to like grab your finger and bite you.
Or one of the birds I just worked with was like, ow, ow. And I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm not picking it up. Like, I know what's coming. You're telling me what's coming. And like this bird is easily heightened by everything. And it's the Amazons, the grays, the cockatoos. They're very easily heightened, and And that's why, like, the Galahs are great speakers, the African Greys are great speakers, the Amazons are great speakers. They're pairing that heightened state of emotion with the word that's being said. And
yeah, so, I guess I just want people to be aware of it because it totally lured me in. I thought, he's giving kisses. Oh, he wants to give kisses, and I almost got my face bit
I remember
off.
the master class. It was like, me, me, me. And you were like, oh.
I thought it was the cutest thing.
It is.
But you have to remember that if your bird is super heightened, it's not the best time to interact, and you need to be careful about what you do click, because you have to remember it's not just the behavior, it's the emotional state too. So
you click what you get.
Much better off capturing natural behaviors that are done at a calm state. So right now, are you calm? Oh, he's chewing on a toy right now. But yeah, and so that's why, that video, I have to wait for him to really get in a calm state to work with him. But I did capture it in a video where he is just poofy. He's just a little fluff bucket on the table, and he just goes, meh. And he's very calm. And I'm clicking and rewarding for that because the high-pitchedness that an Indian ringneck does when they're scared or startled or warning you is not so great sounding, and I wanted to get less of that, and so I wanted to encourage talking or I guess noises that I could stand, and the meh was something that was very easy to tolerate, and I wanted more of that. So
Which is why we've been married 15 years.
I just want you guys to keep that in mind for future of what you put on cue, what you're trying to reward. Because I know a lot of people want talking parrots, and so they want to reward that kind of stuff. But just make sure that you're not rewarding to a point where you're keeping your bird at a heightened state, because it's almost like anxiety-ridden, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's
else?
Lefty.
And then there's Lefty.
I think that probably wraps it up. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that helps. I'm
Awesome.
going to show them these guys one more time. Oh, yeah. It's so hard to not react to you being like that. Here. Really? Those are kisses. So this is heightened.
How can you tell?
Hopefully most of you can tell.